Hello everybody and welcome back to the Outdoor Channel. As you can see, we're back in a truck and I was looking for a solution to be able to mount something that looks like this. Now as an Outdoor Channel, we're getting ready to do our first long fishing trip. We've got about an 11-hour hike up to the Canadian border and I wanted something to be able to mount. Again, something like this that's maybe a little nicer, a little less plasticky, if that makes sense. And so I'm turning to BulletPoint mounting solutions to be able to do that. Now the first thing we're going to talk about before we even get into the install and review is that I reached out to BulletPoint and I said, hey, I'm a small local business. Do you want to send me some products to review? Be happy to do that. And I heard crickets. They didn't have the decency to even reply to my inquiry. So I said, okay, that's fine. I go ahead and just bought this out of my own money. And that also means, not that I wouldn't have done this anyway, but I'm going to tell you what I really think about the product. I'm going to give you what I like about it. I'm going to give you what I don't like about it. So all that's coming up next. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the outdoors. Welcome to the outdoors.
All right, let's go ahead and open this up, see what comes in the kit. So we have one of our mounts. This is kind of similar to a ram mount. This is supposed to be a promotional mug, I think, that came, at least when I bought this. Now sometimes they run different promotions. And if you're a coffee drinker or know somebody that's a coffee drinker, you have your BulletPoint mug. Apparently stickers. Now I got the mount with some red accents to match some of the other things I have on a truck. So that's what that looks like there. More stickers. I opted for the MagSafe mount. This feels like metal. It feels like it's got a little bit of weight. Should be really nice. I imagine that this is the base. Again, for every sticker you add, you gain what, 5 horsepower I think on your truck. Nice heavy metal base here with some assorted hardware to mount it. Here's a close-in of what it looks like here. Let's go ahead and get this started. Before we dive into the install, there's a couple things I can immediately tell you that I like and do not like about this kit. The first one is a lot of the components are metal. They have a bit of weight to them. They feel very sturdy. Should last, I think, a long time. And it's pretty consistent through most of the components here. They have a bit of weight to them. I know you can't see on the camera, but they're not made of plastic. Even these, although they have plastic, I think, ends on here. You know what? This is actually all metal too, I think. So a lot of really nice components on here. That's certainly a win. I think one of the things that I immediately do not like about the kit, as American as it looks, and probably led to believe that it's made in the USA, it is not. So something to keep in mind. They are producing these in China. There you go. Inside the hardware bag, we have just that, some various pieces of hardware. Not sure what that is. We're going to figure out what this long distance hole puncher type thing is supposed to be. Trim tool, crescent wrench, a little screwdriver, drill bit. So it looks like we're going to be doing some drilling here. We're going to figure out what that is. Some more hardware and an Allen key. So a little bit of bench work prep here. There are 7 screws, 3 in the top, 2 on the sides, 2 on the bottom here, that we're going to go ahead and undo. And this is going to allow us to take these 2 pieces apart and be able to mount the base and then add this top back to it when we're done. You could certainly use a drill if you want. I'm going to try not to mar these up too bad, so I'm doing this by hand. Once you remove all your screws, this just pops off like that. Gets you to the bottom of your base. There are 6 mounting points here, 2 on the ends and 4 here in the center. Looks like we have to drill a couple of holes at the bottom of the mounting spot on the truck and the dash there, and that'll firmly secure this. Now if you're used to keeping something here, you're probably going to have to find a new home for it. So something to pay the state toll booth with and a couple of eyeglasses. Going to have to move somewhere else. Not the end of the world. Put those off to the side for a second. This just lifts out like that, and we're just going to test fit this into place, something like that. Now where those holes were I mentioned a little while ago, you're going to have to mark those and start to drill some holes. They do give you a set of self-tapping screws and rivets. They do recommend you use both, but it's your truck, you can do it how you want. And so instead of drilling holes through here, this is just plastic underneath here. You know, nothing really to it. So I'm just going to use the self-tapping screws and just drill right through it. No need to do the extra work. Should work just fine. Now one of the things that I like and do not like about this is, yeah, you're either drilling holes or making holes via the screws into the dash of your truck. Now it will secure that a little bit better, but you have holes in your dash. Now it's not the end of the world, because if you decide you don't like it, you can always put the insert back in and you'll never know that the holes are there, but just something you got to think about when you're doing this. Now you're going to see that I have just 4 of these started, a couple there and a couple over there. Now again, it's your truck. You put as few or as many of these as you want. If you're doing some heavy off-roading, you may want to put a few more in. If you're doing just more around town driving or towing and you don't need quite as many, put a few less in. It'll be totally up to you. Alright, next we're going to get things ready to be mounted. Now this is a base. This again is similar to a ram mount if you're familiar with that. And you may have one of these, you may have a few of them depending on how many accessories you're going to mount to your system. This has some supplied hardware here on the bottom. It's designed to basically seat in any of these slots here, so you can move this around wherever you like. And then once you got that figured out, you secure it and you're good to go. You're going to use a supplied Allen key and a wrench for that. As far as the arm, again, I opted for the red arm. They have a few different colors that are out there. One of the things I kind of like about this, in getting that set up, just take the bracket that's here, or really it's the mount to go into the ball. Go ahead and pop off your wing nut, take your arm, get your bottom piece seated right in the groove, just like that. Get the corresponding top piece, just kind of loosely set it in there, and while holding it with your hand, grab your wing nut and go ahead and re-secure that. And just lightly clamp it there on the ball. I mean, when you're ready, you're going to kind of probably crank that down a little bit, but just for testing, we're going to go ahead and leave it a little bit loose. And the same again for whatever you're mounting your phone or your device to. Again, this one being a MagSafe mount. Don't worry about the orientation just yet. Again, we're just test fitting this. I'm going to take this back to the truck and figure out where exactly I want this. Okay, I've gone out, I've done my testing in the truck in 2 different ways. One, again, determining where I want this, and I figured, you know, let's try out this MagSafe mount, and it actually Connects pretty good. Now, we get off on some of the trails, we'll see if this kind of works its way off or if it holds or not, but right now it seems to hold okay. For me, mounting this really as close to this corner as I can is going to be the best option. It keeps out of the way of my column shifter, keeps out of the way of the new screen I showed you a little while ago. Let's go ahead and install that. One of the things I think they did right is they did stagger these slots, so even though I've only got 3 of the 4 pieces of hardware in here, it doesn't move. And then we'll go ahead and put that last piece in there. It's just a bolt. Drop it there in the hole. Use your finger, kind of keep it in place. Go ahead and flip that around. Has a washer. Goes on there like that. And these are locking or nylock nuts that go on there. You can start them by hand and then grab the supplied wrench and Allen key. We can tighten these down. And now it's just a matter of taking this back to the truck, putting these little pieces of hardware back on where we took them off of at the beginning of the video, and final assembly. Alright, so things that I like. It's made of metal. Should last a long time. It secures very nicely to the base of the truck. The MagSafe holds the phone very nicely. I've had a couple days of travel with it. It doesn't vibrate a whole lot. It doesn't, you know, come detached or anything like that. So I think it's a pretty well-made product. The installation is pretty simple. A couple things that I don't like. The price point's a little high. And then also, as American as it looks, made in China. So those are some of the highlights. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, hit the like and subscribe button. Lots more content coming your way. We'll see you next time.